Alright, so this is going to be a little different from my past videos because I want to talk about the new relic sets that we're going to get on the 2.3 and some kind of misinformation, misunderstanding that we are getting with the relic sets. So let's go over the basics. We're going to talk a little more about each set, and I also trying to give some examples of units that can use each one of those sets. We're going to first talk about Iron Cavalry against the Scourge, and honestly I find this one to be more restrictive than Forge of the Kalpanian Lantern, which is the one that people are hating so much. We have the two-piece effect, which is a break effect increase of 16%. It's on the same amount of power of the past two different break effect sets that we had in the game. The main point is the 4-piece set effect, which is completely centered on break damage characters. The first half of the 4-piece set says that if you have 150% or more break effect, then you are going to ignore 10% of the enemy defense when dealing break damage. So this is kind of easy to achieve. You can get 150% on most characters with no problem. Second half is what I don't like. If you have 250% or more break effect, then your super break damage is going to ignore additional 15% of the target's defense. Restricting this second half to super break, it means that the only way for you to fully utilize this set is if you decided to use a Harmony Trailblazer on your team or equip it on Firefly, because for now in the game we only have those two units for super break damage. I believe that in the future we are going to get another units, but for now I find it really restrictive, and honestly I don't like, because let's be honest, reaching 250% is no easy feat. You need to use a lot of break effect rolls on your pieces. You need to maybe use even a Lightcon, which offers you break effect, and use like units like Juan Mei. So I really don't like this one. I would rather go for break damage increase just like the first half, but I don't think they're going to change. So yeah, that's it. Now we have wind-soaring Valorous, which is a follow-up focused new relic set. The two-piece effect is going to give us attack increase, which is different from the Ash Blazing Grand Duke. Ash Blazing Grand Duke is going to increase your follow-up damage by 20% already straight on the two-piece effect. I find it really strong, by the way. The 4-piece is going to increase your crit rate by 6%. It's a fair amount, it's not that much. What I like on the 4-piece effect is the fact that it's going to increase your ultimate damage by 36% once you use a follow-up attack. It's obviously like made for Jade, just like the other ones made for Firefly, but you can see a lot of other characters using this one. You could go, for example, on Jin Yuan. Jin Yuan can benefit from this set. I don't know about the damage because honestly I don't use Jin Yuan, but I think that increasing his ultimate damage is going to be a good addition. I don't see Ratio using this one, for example, because Ratio's whole kit highly synergizes with Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters, because Ratio wants enemies to have debuffs, Pioneer Diver wants enemies to have debuffs, so it's a win-win situation for Ratio. I'm going to first talk about Duran, because Kalpani is going to take some time. So Duran is also a follow-up centered new planar ornament set. When allies use follow-up attacks, the wearer of this planar ornament set is going to get 1 stack of merit. Merit stacks up to 5 times, and every stack of merit is going to increase damage dealt by follow-up attacks by 5%. If you have 5 stacks, you're also going to get 25% off crit damage on your character. It's when allies use follow-up attacks. If you have a lot of units in your team that use follow-up attacks, then you are going to stack this really easily, and you're going to outscale, for example, Salsoto, which was the only option we had for follow-up characters on the planar ornaments. If you take a look here, Salsoto only increases your follow-up by 15%. It also increases your ultimate, but the new set is going to increase your ultimate by more than double the amount. And if you're only talking about the follow-up damage, then Salsoto is going to have 10% less damage increase. Salsoto also increases your crit rate by 8%. Duran instead is going to increase your crit damage by 25%. 25% crit damage is really good on pretty much any character, but I think that Duran is going to outscale Salsoto as long as you have some good rolls on the relics you're using on your character. Now for the main star of the whole video, Forge of the Kalpanian Lantern, which I don't understand why people are hating this set so much. It says that it increases the wear speed by 6%. Speed by itself is really good on pretty much any character. There's no planar set in the game that increases your speed. This is the first one, but the problem that people are seeing is on the second half of the planar ornament. When the wear hits enemy targets with fire weakness, the wear break effect increases by 40%, lasting for 1 turn. I don't understand why this set is getting so much hate. It's not when you apply fire weakness on enemies, for example, it's only if the enemy has fire weakness. Your fiction, you are going to have a lot of different enemies. You can see the list of enemies, and there's always the situation where you're going to find a lot of fire weakness enemies, and you can benefit from this break effect. So if you still don't understand break effect, I've made a video explaining break effect and super break, the new mechanic that we got on the 2.2. I recommend checking out. Break effect is going to be beneficial for pretty much any character as long as you building on a break effect build. This is going to increase also your super break damage, and super break, which is a really good mechanic by the way, can increase your DPS output of pretty much any character. If we decide to look only on fire characters that can benefit from this, then we have, for example, Gallagher, which scales with break effect. We have Himeko. Himeko is built on break mechanics, so building break effect on her on top of super break is also going to be really good. But the point here is that this set is not even restricted to fire characters. Let's say, for example, Boot Hill. If you take a look here on Boot Hill page on Pride, which is a source of information that many people use, his best relics here is the Quantum Set Relic, and it specifies here that it's a situational set option for Boot Hill, because if you're dealing against an enemy that has quantum weakness, you're going to ignore 20% defense of the enemy, and this is really good for break damage because break damage has pretty much no waste scale besides break effect. Boot Hill is not even quantum damage character. He's going to benefit from the 4-piece. It's pretty much the same situation we have here. It's a set that can be situationally used on most characters as long as you understand why you're going to use this set. For example, we have Izumo Gensei. It's a super restricted set. You're going to need another character of the same path on your team. This is obviously made for Acheron because Acheron can use the crit rate. But if you think a little bit, for example, we have Dr. Rachel. It doesn't show here on the best planetary sets, but if you decide to build using Topaz, which is one of the best options, then you can easily use Izumo Gensei and Takama Divine Realm as the option here. So I think that people need to understand that there are always going to be situational sets. There are going to be characters that can benefit and will benefit in some situations from this set. If we decided to think about useless set, we can say, for example, Belobog. Like, who the hell uses Belobog up to now? There's no character that is going to use Belobog. You can use maybe on Venturi and Ifrit dealing with problems, hitting like 4k total defense, then you can use a Belobog, but this is so bad. There are a lot of better options for Venturing. Talia was so bad that there was no reason for you to build break effect on any character before the super break mechanic arrived. So there are obvious some sets that are going to be useless. There are obvious that some sets that are going to be really situationals. You can use this as long as you understand why you're going to use this. And this is what I think that people are missing the point. And I really hope that this video could help you understand the whole point that I want to make. As always, thanks for watching and have a beautiful day.